What is up, guys? I'm Remote Night Owl, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So today we're going to be taking a look at the strategy of two items and when you should use them and the appropriate champions to use them against. Specifically, we're going to be looking at Executioner's Calling and Bramble Vest. Now, very quickly before we get started, I just want to state this video is going to be a little bit more top lane centered because Bramble Vest and Executioner's Calling are items that are built situationally for the top laners, specifically, namely tanks and fighters. So with mid laners, typically you're going to build Morellonomicon. Maybe an AD Assassin mid lane could build Executioner's Calling early. However, this video is specifically going to be for top laners and for those situational matchups and when to build these items. Now, the reason I wanted to do a video for the strategy behind both of these items is because they both have the same unique passive in that they inflict grievous wounds on an enemy champion when they take damage. However, because both of these items have a different circumstance in which they inflict grievous wounds and reduce healing, it can be confusing as to when you build the correct item in a specific situation. So I wanted to do this video to iron this out for you. So before we jump into it, I just really quickly want to iron out what grievous wounds is and what it means. So basically, when a champion has grievous wounds inflicted on them, it means that healing from all sources is reduced either by 30% or 40% depending on which item you build, which we will get into in a second. So basically, all lifesteal, spell vamp, and health regen, and healing from all other sources, including the healing buff from Spirit Visage, is reduced when Grievous Wounds is applied. So when taking a look at your enemy matchup and considering which item you should build for the situation and whether or not you should build the item early for the situation, you want to consider the following things. First of all, is the enemy champion that I'm facing auto-attack base and take advantage of lifesteal such as a Doran's Blade, or is the healing from the enemy champion more ability based and they would take advantage of something, say, a Doran's Shield? Also, you want to consider if they have any healing to begin with or not, because if they don't, then there might be a better item to rush rather than a Grievous Wounds item when considering which item to build. And another thing I'd like to point out when determining which of these items you should build for the situation, if you are playing an AD fighter or AD tank, it is gold efficient for you to build either one of these items. However, if you are an AP fighter or AP tank, it is only gold efficient for you to build Bramble Vest, simply because Executioner's Calling is not going to synergize into your kit or into your general stats simply because it is an AD item. So if you're playing AD, definitely Executioner's Calling or Bramble Vest, but if you're playing AP, only Bramble Vest is what you want to consider. So getting into when you should build either of these items, we're going to have three different classifications of champions of when you should build either Executioner's Calling or Bramble Vest. So the first classification is going to be champions that you build Bramble Vest against. The second classification is going to be champions that you build Executioner's Calling against. And the third classification is going to be viable champions that you can build either of these items against. However, it isn't necessary because there's either better item picks that you can buy on your first or second back, or their healing is just too passive or isn't occurrent enough for the gold value of these items to be considered. Now, getting into the classification of our Bramble Vest and when we should build this item, the list of champions we should build this against are as follows: Aatrox, Akali, Fiora, Irelia, Lucian, Olaf, Quinn, Renekton, Shen, Trundle, Tryndamere, Urgot, Vayne, Zhao, and Yasuo. Now, all of these champions are auto-attack reliant, have lots of healing and sustain in their kit, and can take advantage of lifesteal from an early Doran's Blade, so this item rushed early against them is quintessential for sustaining in the lane phase and helping to bully them out of lane, as well as maintaining healthy trades during the laning phase. Now, when it comes to Executioner's Calling and which champions you build that item against, there are actually a lot less champions that you build this item into early during the laning phase, simply because their kits have more ability-based or passive-based sustain, but it is great enough that having the offensive item that inflicts grievous wounds gives you enough of an advantage that it helps you with healthy trades and also possibly killing them during the laning phase. So those champions are as follows: Dr. Mundo, Illaoi, Nasus, Swain, Volibear, and Warwick. Now again, you build this item A to give you the offensive advantage, but B because their healing relies more ability based, and also because it's also passive based from their passive ability. So when that activates, such as Volibear for example, that healing is going to be greatly reduced simply by having this one item in your inventory. And finally, for the classification of our viable candidates, remember, if you see these champions, it is good to build either Executioner's Calling or Bramble Vest against them. However, it is not 100% optimal simply because they have very little healing in their kit, or simply because their auto attacks won't heal them, but it'll help give you sustain in trades by that little extra reflection damage coming from Bramble Vest. And those champions are as follows: Camille, Cho'Gath, Darius, Garen, Gragas, Graves, Jarvan, Jax, Kled, Maokai, Mordekaiser, Riven, Tahm Kench, Vladimir, and Urgot. Remember, it is not always optimal to build either of these items against these champions. However, they definitely can help you win trades and help you win one-on-one fights if the situation arises. Now, I know that was a lot of champion information to take in, so I just want to sum this up very quickly and very simply for you. So remember, if a champion is ability based and gets most of their healing from abilities, simply you just want to build an Executioner's Calling. And if the sustain and lifesteal is auto attack based, as well as their primary damage output is auto attack based, then you just want to build Bramble Vest. Just remember those two principles with this, and you'll be able to figure out which item to appropriately build in a situation in whatever game that you play. Well guys, that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully today you learned something about Grievous Wounds, how they work, and which item to build in which correct situation. Again, I know this was more of a top lane focused video, however, there are other situations and other roles where you can build either of these items. Well guys, as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see each other again real soon. Have a wonderful day.